All right, old school NBA fans, self-research, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. This video here, I don't anticipate a super long one. I know I've been running a couple pretty long ones lately, so I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a break. This video is actually by request. Someone had requested it, and I realized very quickly that it was going to take a long time if I was going to do a bunch of players. So what I did was I looked up LeBron James, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan, because I just think those four guys kind of fit the bill for this criteria. I mean, sure, I could have brought in other players and everything, but like I said, these are the first four that I looked up, and it just I could see right away. I mean, it was taking a while to go through because you have to game by game it. And what the video is how many times did a player have more turnovers than field goals? And I thought it was, could be very interesting. It intrigued me. So I looked into it. And like I said, I only did the four players. Now, all these guys, obviously LeBron has more assists, the whole system thing and all that. Larry Bird had, I think every year of his career except his rookie year, he had at least 5 assists a game. He had 3 years of 7 or more assists. Kobe had 9 of his 16 seasons that he played like over 60 games. He had at least 5 assists. Had a couple in there where he had 6 or more. Michael Jordan, in his 13 full seasons, 8 of them he had at least 5 assists or more, and he had 3 years where he had 6 or more, and even 1 year that he had 8 assists per game. So, LeBron has more assists, no doubt about it, but even still, a guy that is this much of a scorer, he has more field goal attempts per game than Larry Bird does. I mean, so there you go, and he's not that far away from Kobe, so he should be able to get a lot of points. So I'll just get right into it. So LeBron James played 287 games in his career, playoff games. He had 7 games in his career where he had the same number of turnovers as he did field goals. Exactly the same. And then he had 9 games where he actually had more turnovers than field goals. So that's a total of 16 games that he had either the same amount of turnovers or more as he did field goals. Larry Bird, 164 playoff games, only 3 were the same number of turnovers as field goals. And he had 6 where he had more turnovers than field goals, a total of 9, where he had at least the same amount or more turnovers as field goals. Kobe Bryant, in his 200 games, only had 3. He had 3 games where he had the same number of turnovers as field goals, and 2 where he had more turnovers than field goals, and 5 total between the two. Michael Jordan, in his 179 playoff games, he had 4 games where he had the same number of turnovers as field goals, but 0 games in his career where he had more turnovers than field goals. It never happened. And there was a game, one that Nick Wright loves to talk about, in the 1993 Eastern Conference Finals. It was Game 3. The Bulls were down 0-2. So Nick Wright's contention is that, Scottie Pippen bailed him out. Bullshit. No, he did not. Go back and look at the either the film of that game or look at the stat sheet of that particular game. 1993 Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks in Game 3. Michael Jordan shot 3 for 18. He was being smothered. Whenever he would come in, he was being guarded very tightly by John Starks. He just couldn't hit anything. Of course, the next game, he scored 50 points, but we're talking about just this game. His game score was over 20. and he made 3 field goals. How did he do that? Well, he had I want to say it was 11 rebounds, 8 assists. I think he had 3 or 4 steals, only 2 turnovers, and he was, I believe it was 16 for 17 from the free throw line. He still had 22 points, and he completely shut down John Starks. He got nothing. I think he was 1 for 5 or 1 for 6 or something like that. He got 4 points. Completely shut that guy down. So to go over that game and act like it was some indictment on Jordan, it's no. All it did for me is just show that when Jordan's shot wasn't falling for whatever reason, either he was just off that day or the defense was just really tight on him, combination, whatever, he went out and showcased the rest of his game. Go out and get some assists, get some rebounds, get to the line, hit your free throws, get some steals, and don't turn the ball over. And then on the other side of it, shut down the guy you're guarding. That's why Michael Jordan's the best player of all time. That exact game, to me, is the epitome of why Michael Jordan is the GOAT, right there. So, but anyway, moving along. So, when you go by percentage, the percentage of the games with the same or more turnovers as field goals, LeBron comes in at 5.55, 16 out of 287. So that's more than 1 every 20 games. He had more turnovers than field goals. And I'll go over a couple of them. All right. 2006, actually LeBron James' second playoff game ever against the Wizards in the first round. LeBron James had 10 turnovers with 7 field goals. He had another game, which, this has got to be probably his worst game of his career. I think it's the 2 for 18 game. 2008 Eastern Conference Semifinals, Game 1 against Boston. 10 turnovers and 2 field goals. 10 turnovers. He had 5 times more turnovers than he did field goals. So I don't want to hear the point of view of that, LeBron passed a lot more, so of course he would have a lot of turnovers. There's more than just passing to cause a turnover, okay? An offensive foul, that'll be considered a turnover. You get the ball stolen from you, that's a turnover. There's a shot clock violation. Whether you don't get, the ball's in your hand right before the shot clock goes off, or you don't get the ball past half court. There's many different versions of a turnover than just passing. That's going to be the majority of it, sure. But, also is you're this slick passer, like everybody says, why are you turning the ball over so much? Another one, this is one of the, just going by his highest ones. In 2010 Eastern Conference Semifinals against Boston, that's where the owner of the Cavs said that LeBron quit. So they were up 2-1 after Game 3. In Game 4, LeBron James had 7 turnovers with 7 field goals. In Game 5, 3 turnovers with 3 field goals. In Game 6, 9 turnovers with 8 field goals. That was probably the worst series of LeBron James' career, even worse than the 2011 Finals. And in the 2011 Finals, he's got one of those too. In Game 4, he had 4 turnovers, but only 3 field goals. So those are pretty much the absolute worst ones. Now, Larry Bird had a couple bad ones too. 1981 Eastern Conference Semifinals, Game 2 against Chicago. He had 10 turnovers, only 5 field goals. His other really bad one would have been 1985 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 4 against Philly. He had 8 turnovers, only 4 field goals. Those are his really, really bad standout ones. The rest of them are just kind of marginal. Kobe only had 2 to where he had more turnovers than field goals. The 2000 Western Conference Finals, he actually had 2 games. Game 2, he had 2 turnovers with 2 field goals, so it was a tie. And then in Game 5 of the same series, he had 6 turnovers and only 4 field goals. And then in 2009 Western Conference Finals against Denver in Game 5, 7 turnovers and 6 field goals. That's that was pretty much it. Now, Michael Jordan never had a game where he had more turnovers than field goals. Never happened. The only 4 games that he had that were the same number, where he had the same number of turnovers as he did field goals. 1989 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5 against Detroit. He had 4 turnovers, 4 field goals. 1991 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1 against Detroit. 6 turnovers, 6 field goals. 1995 Eastern Conference Semifinals against Orlando, Game 1. That was the game where Jordan got the ball stolen from him by Nick Anderson. And then when they got the ball back, he made the bad pass to Pippen. So he got 2 turnovers in like the last, 20, 30 seconds of the game, which allowed it to be 8 turnovers to 8 field goals in that one. And then the last one of his career was the 1996 Finals in Game 6. He had 5 turnovers to only 5 field goals. Now, Jordan, admittedly did not shoot well at all that game. And, he had 5 turnovers. But he got to the line a lot, and he made sure Hersey Hawkins, was a non-factor in that game. But anyway, so when you look at it, compared to Larry Bird, percentage of games with the same or more number of turnovers as field goals, Bird is at 5.48, just barely under LeBron. Kobe is only at 2.5%, which is really good. And Jordan is the lowest at 2.23%. The percentage of games with more turnovers than field goals, LeBron sits at 3.13%. Larry Bird is at 3.65%, actually higher than LeBron did. Kobe Bryant is only at 1% because out of 200 games, I didn't count his first 2 years because he was coming off the bench. Didn't seem fair. So anyway, only 2 out of 200, which comes to 1%. And then Michael Jordan, the percentage of games with more turnovers than field goals, a big fat goose egg. None. It never happened. So to me, that's pretty telling. I mean, Kobe did really good only having 2, but Jordan is just on another level with that goose egg. I mean, again, it's just so many angles you look up. And yeah, I understand that Jordan, probably didn't make as many passes as Bird or LeBron. I'm sure that's true. And to find somebody who had a good balance of shooting the ball and passing the ball is probably pretty difficult. I mean, I don't know, maybe like a Steph Curry, like Magic Johnson, that guy was obviously a huge pass-first player. Same with John Stockton, Steve Nash. I mean, maybe guys like maybe a Steve Nash or a Mark Price, maybe a Jason Kidd. I don't know who you would even look for to have that kind of that balance or whatever, but almost all guys are one or the other. And people making the case that LeBron James is a pass-first player, these people are kidding themselves. He wasn't. He was just a ball-dominant player. That's all he was. But again, that's the one thing that the LeBron fans only talk about is his turnovers, because he definitely had plenty of them. And like I said, I know he's played a lot more games than all these other guys, and that's why his numbers are higher. But when you break it down by percentage, he's the highest with the same or more. Yeah, he is lower than Larry Bird was. That agreed. But when it comes to Kobe or Jordan, not even close. So you make of that what you will. Like I said, I did this by request. But to me, the most interesting part of all this is the fact that Michael Jordan never had a game where he had more turnovers than field goals. To me, that's the headline here. That's the story. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. It would definitely really help me out. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Again, these things, for some reason, help out in the algorithm and that kind of thing. And, sometimes I slide back and forth with the amount of people I can reach. So subscribing and hitting the like button, those 2 things are huge, apparently. So anyway, I would really appreciate it. And until next time.